through some of the places the willingness of the defendant to constructively negotiate has been found to be lacking there. So in light of those circumstances, the court has till now proceeded to grant interim injunctions. But assume as a reversible scenario where the defendant is actually more than willing to negotiate the FRAND license, the court may be not so inclined to grant interim injunction. So it's a very fact-specific precedent which has proceeded till now. I will not generalize it and say that interim injunctions are grantable in every condition of FRAND. And also the courts have been more than happy to vacate the interim injunction within a very short period of time. For example, the interim injunctions have actually served a very huge purpose of bringing the defendant to the court, which otherwise may not have happened at all. They may have taken their own sweet time to sit down and come to the court and start the negotiating process, unless until there was some sort of business need, humongous business need. And that's not a legalistic issue, it's a human business need. If you are being forced as a company to shut down your operations, then you would at least show the willingness to enter into some sort of negotiation properly. So the court is aware of that fact also. And that is what the interim injunctions have actually served. Bring them to the negotiating table ASAP. And subsequently thereof, they have vacated. In all the cases, subsequent to the defendant coming to the court and admitting to the extent of interim royalty rate, the court has vacated all the interim injunctions and has allowed the products to be sold so that the public at large is not also being affected. The interest of the patentee in all these cases is not to stop the product from coming into the market, because if that actually gets stopped, the FRAND itself in totality will get the percentage of royalty which will otherwise come to them will stop. So it's not in the interest of the patentee to get an injunction. It is actually in the interest of the patentee that the products are being sold. So in all those cases, even the patentee has not taken a stand that the injunction should be continued. All that they have taken a stand is, let the party give some sort of interim settlement agreement, enter into interim settlement agreement, let them continue in the market, and subsequently whenever the final adjudication happens, they will go by that. So that's the difference between the Indian and the worldwide perspectives. With that, I will stop.
That's a big difference. Having an early stage injunction, as I said, is absolutely significant, and it's a foreign concept to our American jurisprudence. But that's an interesting overview of the perspective of what's happening in India on a general scale. And I would like Sheetal to address it, what she's seeing from the corporate perspective from Ericsson and possibly from competitors of Ericsson, who I'm sure you engage with on a fairly regular basis.
How much time do I have?
Just a few minutes.
Few minutes. Okay. So warm welcome to all of you here, and many thanks that you showed up. In fact, when the coffee break was there, we thought maybe whether you'll turn up or not. So I'm so happy to see all of you, and you have really made us feel very elated, and you're here, and we'll do our level best to just exchange our views. I think it's extremely difficult for me to talk about India's specific thing after when both my co-panelists on India have already spoken. Whatever I wanted to say, you have already